In this video, we're doing another example of graphing a linear equation, and the equation we've been given is 2x plus 4y equals 6. We know it's an equation because there's an equal sign. We know it's a linear equation because both of the variables we've got involved here, x and y, are first degree variables, meaning we have x to the first power and we have y to the first power. So this is a linear equation, and a linear equation will always produce a line when we graph it. So in order to graph the line, we're going to do it two ways. The first way is we're going to find a few coordinate points on the line, and then we're going to connect them to sketch the line. And then the second way is we're going to change the equation we've been given into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. So we can either use coordinate points here, or we can use slope-intercept form and the slope and the y-intercept to sketch the line. So let's start by plotting a few points. We're going to pick a couple of values for x that we can plug into our equation and find the associated values for y. You always want to pick a negative number, 0, and a positive number. In this case, because it's simple, we'll just pick -1, 0, and +1. We're going to plug these in for x and find the associated values for y. So starting with -1, we're going to say 2 times -1 when we plug -1 in for x here, plus 4y equals 6. Now we just want to solve this for y. So we'll get -2 plus 4y equals 6. Adding 2 to both sides, we'll get this -2 to cancel. We'll be left with 4y is equal to 8. Dividing both sides by 4, we'll get y equals 2. So the associated value here is y equals 2, so we have the coordinate point -1, 2. Now let's go ahead and plug in 0. We're going to get 2 times 0 plus 4y equals 6. 2 times 0 is 0, so we just get 4y equals 6. Dividing both sides by 4, we get 6 over 4, or 3 over 2. So this is 3 over 2, 3 halves, which is the same as 1 1/2. Then we'll plug in 1, so we'll get 2 times 1 plus 4y equals 6. We'll get 2 plus 4y equals 6, or 4y equals 4. Dividing both sides by 4, we get y equals 1. So the associated value here is 1. Now we just want to go ahead and plot these points. So we have the point -1, 2. So we'll go -1 along the x-axis, +2 along the y-axis. We have 0 and then 1 1/2. So 0 and 1 1/2. And then we have 1 1. So 1 1 is right here. So now we have these 3 points, and we can just connect them to sketch the graph of a line, which will look something like this. Now we're going to take the same equation and sketch the graph a different way. We're going to change the equation we've been given into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So in order to do that, we need to solve for y. We'll do that by subtracting 2x from both sides, and we'll get 4y equals -2x plus 6. We want to put the term with the x first because slope-intercept form has the term with the x first before this whole number. Then in order to solve for y, we'll divide through every term by 4, and we'll get y equals -2 over 4, or -1/2, x plus 6 over 4, or 3 over 2. Now we have our equation in slope-intercept form, and we can identify -1/2 as m here. That's going to be the slope of our line. And then we can identify 3/2 as the y-intercept, or the point where the line intersects the y-axis. So that's going to be 3/2. So now we just need to use the y-intercept and the slope to graph the line. So we start with the y-intercept of 3/2. That's 1 1/2. So we go up to 1 1/2 and we plot that point. Then we use the fact that the slope is -1/2 to sketch the rest of the line. So keep in mind that we can have -1/2 with -1 over +2, or with +1 over -2. Both of these will get us to -1/2, so we can use this information to plot other points on the line. So if we use this -1 over +2, that means we're going to go down 1 along the y-axis, because remember, slope equals change in y over change in x. So this tells us that along the y-axis we go down 1, so we go down 1, and then along the x-axis we go over +2, and we plot that point right here. We can go down 1 again and over +2 again, and we can keep doing that. Or alternatively, we have +1 over -2, which means we want to go up 1 along the y-axis and then over to the left 2 along the x-axis. So we want to go up 1 and over 2 in this direction, up 1 and over 2. So we start getting these points here, and we just want to connect them in order to sketch the graph of the line like this. And the point here is just that even though my graphs aren't perfect, either method, whether we're using coordinate points like this or we're transforming our equation into slope-intercept form and then using the y-intercept and the slope, either method should produce the same graph of the line, and you can always use both methods to double check your graph if you're unsure about whether or not you've got it right. So either way, use either method, but that's how you graph a linear equation.